Hi, and welcome back to Worm Lots, where we harness the God-given power of compost worms to transform organic waste into amazing living fertilizer. Today, we are here in a different environment. We are here in a corner of the kitchen. We try to take whatever opportunities we have to continue to work on composting. And so today we're beginning a series on fermentation and bokashi. I've done this a few times, but unfortunately I've had some mishaps along the way. So we're starting over from scratch. And so this first video is going to be focusing on how to make rice wash water, which is very simple. And my ingredients today, I've got this mason jar here with 3 cups of filtered water, non-chlorinated. I've got 1.5 cups of dry brown rice. And I've got this large empty bowl. So this is going to be our mixing bowl. So I'm going to go ahead and pour in the rice. And we'll pour in the water. You'll notice that I did a 2-to-1 ratio of water to rice. So that's kind of the ratio that I've learned at this point. And I watched this actually from, I believe it's Fraser Valley Rose Farm. So I will try to pin them or put them in the comments so that you can watch a great video on how to do this, how to make your own bokashi mix from start to finish. So here what I'm doing, I'm just swirling the water around by hand. Obviously you could use a spoon or something else, but it doesn't have to be anything too complicated. So we're just swirling this around with our hand and waiting for the water to get as cloudy as possible. And the purpose of that is to pick up as much of the starch that's in the rice and get that into the water. So just gonna mix that around some more. You can kind of see that the water's getting a little bit cloudy, but we want to get it as cloudy as possible. And if your water is not super cloudy, from what I've read, it may not look super cloudy, but there should be sufficient starch in there to be able to get this whole process started. So don't be discouraged if you're hoping for super cloudy water and you don't get it. So I feel somewhat satisfied. I feel like we've thoroughly mixed this around. We've taken a couple minutes to do that. So, all right, with that done, I'm actually going to pour the water containing the starch back in to this mason jar here. And I'll go ahead and I'll pour off what I can without any type of filtration. And then as the rice starts to want to make its way into the jar, I'll go ahead and use some cheesecloth to prevent that. All right, so here we go. We've got our jar, and we are just going to pour the water. This is where a funnel would be very helpful, so I'm gonna pause and we'll get a funnel. All right, so the funnel has appeared, and we'll go ahead and pour off as much of this as we can. You'll notice that we're not really having any rice get anywhere close to there quite yet. All right, now we got some floating rice, and I did have a little bit of spill off, but I think for the most part we did pretty well. So we're almost back to our 3-cup measurement. We won't quite get there because of this spilled water, but I'm not gonna cry over it. I know it's not milk, but same principle. So let's get the cheesecloth. All right, and I've just draped the cheesecloth over the top of the funnel. Now we'll just continue to pour. And as you can see, the cheesecloth is catching the rice. All right, I feel pretty satisfied with that. The rice is still somewhat damp. There may be a little bit here and a little bit there. Obviously what we lost on the floor, but I don't think that's going to stop us too much. So I'm gonna take off the funnel at this point, put the funnel right over there, and looking at what we've totaled, I don't know if you can see the jar. This is the 3-cup mark. So we're just short of that, probably close to 2.8 cups. And that's plenty. So that's fantastic. Now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna take that same cheesecloth that I used. I'm going to gather up the rice grains. And I'm going to return the rice grains to the bowl. So I'm just gonna empty that. Just a little shake. All right, so that seems sufficient to me. Got a little bit of rice there, but not gonna derail anything. We're gonna drape the cheesecloth back over the top, just like that. So there's a breathable barrier now over the top of this rice wash water glass. And then we're gonna take the metal ring for the lid that goes on top of that mason jar, and we're just going to use that to secure the cheesecloth in place. Okay? And so now we're going to put this in a nice dark and somewhat cool place where it can get exposed to just airflow, and will allow microbes to settle in there. And this is really our micro catcher right here. So I'll probably put it in a shed outside. We're in late summer right now, so given about 3 to 5 days, we should have our rice wash water have picked up what we want in there, which is some microbes feeding on the starch. So that's it, simple as that. So I'm gonna put in a nice dark, fairly warm place, and we'll let it sit there and gather the bacteria that we need. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you continue to watch us as we move further into our series on fermentation, and specifically Bokashi. So really excited to get that going again. I've had a few failed attempts with trying different types of bran, and so I'm glad to involve you in the process. Thanks so much, and please feel free to leave any comments if you've done this before, or if you think there's any way that we could tweak this to make it even better. I'd love to hear from you. Catch you next time.